Hi there, my name is Shelby Bates. I am the Education and Outreach Program Coordinator for IN. We are a nonprofit that promotes college access and inclusion for students with intellectual disabilities in Colorado. Today, I am giving a brief overview of our Inspiring Futures College Mentorship Program. Oops. We're going to start by just going into what inclusive higher education is in Colorado, and then we'll talk about the specifics of this program. So when we say inclusive higher education, it really refers to a pathway for students with intellectual disabilities to enroll in college and to receive additional supports. In particular, there is an alternate enrollment pathway. Students do not need to meet the traditional entry criteria for the college. They just need to have really desire to go to college and to have a documented intellectual disability. Some of the additional supports then that students can receive once they're enrolled are things like academic accommodations and modifications. Typically, students can only get accommodations in college, but with this path, students can also receive those modifications. So maybe a reading assignment at a different grade level, maybe a shortened writing assignment, or maybe a different assignment instead of a writing assignment. Maybe students have less questions on an exam or less options on a multiple choice test, things like that that are kind of changing how students are completing the work. In addition, there are peer mentors who are other college students who really play a big role in working with students to get involved socially on campus. There's career support where students are involved every semester in work experiences and development. That could be job shadows and job tours. It could be working on campus, off campus, really with the goal that by their junior and senior year, they're working off campus in the local community in an area of interest related to what they're studying. That can range from brewing sciences to computer programming to art to dance to photojournalism, advocacy, government, to early childhood education, nursing assistants, a really wide range of different things. And then overall independence. So students are supported in really kind of learning a lot of those skills for independence in young adult life. There are 3 colleges in Colorado who currently offer these services. They are the University of Northern Colorado, Arapahoe Community College, and the University of Colorado at Colorado Springs. Both UNC and UCCS do have options for students to live on campus. Some of the other key things to know about inclusive higher education: students really have the right to choose what they want to study. So it could be anything from that college's course catalog of what they offer. They're typically taking 2 to 3 classes per semester. This is slightly less than other college students might take, but is typically found to be kind of a full-time load for students who are on this pathway. Again, students will work throughout college. They apply directly to the Inclusive Service Office on campus. So IN, as an organization, is here to make sure we have these options in Colorado, to do some advocacy around expanding accessibility to these options across the state, to raise awareness of the options, but the schools themselves are the ones who offer the services and choose to do so. And then there is financial aid available at all 3 of these schools. When these options first started 5 years ago, that was not the case, but it's absolutely the case today that students are able to apply for financial aid, and if they do show family financial need, may be able to access grants and work study. Again, this is a really brief overview, but just to give you a sense of kind of if this might be a good fit for you or for your student. If you want to learn more, we have a couple general overview webinars coming up on October 13th and November 4th. You can go to inclusivehighered.org/news and events. Or there's also recorded webinars posted on our site that are already there, so you could just watch those on your own time. And if you prefer more written content, you can just check out our site at inclusivehighered.org/college-options, and that will give you a more in-depth explanation of these pathways. Now I'm going to switch gears. Again, I know that was really, really brief, but hopefully just kind of sets the stage for what we're talking about. Inspiring Futures Mentorship Program is an option for high school and transition students to connect with college students with intellectual disabilities to learn about college. Students do not have to be actively planning to go to college. It's really more about exploring the options and just having conversations with people in college about what college is like and what life after high school has been like for them. The mentors in the program are college students who are accessing inclusive higher education services. This fall, we will have 6 mentors, 2 from UNC, 2 from ACC, and 2 from UCCCS. Ooh, sorry about that. They all have some form of an intellectual or developmental disability. They are primarily juniors and seniors in college, so they have a good amount of experience with college that they can really speak to, especially pre-pandemic, so the ability to talk about what it's like when there aren't a lot of restrictions on a college campus. And then for the universities, there will be at least one mentor who lives on campus who can talk about what that experience is like. And then for ACC, we'll make sure we have mentors who are familiar with commuting and can speak more to that option. The mentors have been contracted within. These are paid positions. And they're all really just passionate about sharing about college, answering student questions, meeting new people, having conversations, things of that nature. So the key dates to know about are mentee applications are due October 3rd. That's coming up. Then there will be mentee interviews that'll take place the week of October 4th. Those interviews will be about 30 minutes. The first 15 minutes will be with a student and with their parent or guardian. And then the second half of that meeting, so the second 15 minutes, will be just for myself and the student. I'll really be just talking to them about what their interests are, getting to know them, and just kind of seeing how they are. This program really is student to student. So it's college student to high school student. And so part of this process is just kind of making sure that the student is okay independently. If students do need some additional supports or things like that, you can always let myself know and we can come up with some plans around that to ensure they are able to successfully participate in the program. We will then make decisions about mentee interviews the following week, and the sessions will start October 21st. Those sessions will be on Thursdays from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. There will be 6 sessions between October 21st and December 2nd, as you can see outlined here. The meetings will be held on Google Meet. If you're not familiar with Google Meet, the student will just have to click a link and they'll be able to join. They don't need to download any software or anything like that. You can join from a phone, you can join from a computer. It's pretty flexible in that regard, so I really like using it as an option. And it again will give us that, we'll talk about it in a little bit, it'll give us an option to have breakout rooms with mentors and mentees able to connect a little more individually. There will be a parent Q&A with mentors that takes place sometime during the week of December 6th. So kind of as a final wrap up of the program, parents will have a chance to just talk to the mentors, get to know them a little more, ask them questions about their experience in college. That will be determined really based on what works for parents, and then that's also finals week, and so kind of what works for the mentors. For the meeting structure, we will start every week in a large group and the mentors will present about a different topic. So the main topics we cover are academics, social life, career, and independence. Those are the 4 pillars of inclusive higher education. So it'll take time to really talk about those. The content they discuss will really be informed by what mentees say that they want to learn about and what their goals are in this program. Again, it's really student to student driven and is really based in conversation and I would say a lot of trust and honesty about what college is like. After the mentors do that, maybe take some questions from the mentees. Again, it's very conversational. We will break into small groups. So each mentor will meet with 1 to 2 mentees. And that's just more of a time for the mentees to continue to ask more questions. It's again pretty flexible what those conversations might be about. We ran a session of this program with Denver Public Schools in the spring, and questions included things like, what happens if I get locked out of my dorm? What happens if I get lost on campus? How do I sign up for different clubs and activities? What are some of your favorite classes you've taken? What is it like to have a roommate? Where can I eat on campus? So really a wide range of things that are really specific to each mentee and what they might be feeling nervous about or what they just might not know about when it comes to thinking about college as an option. I can't remember if I said this earlier, but I think it's important enough to restate. Students don't have to be actively planning to enroll in college. They might be thinking about college. They might just be exploring their options. We talk a lot about career and independent living as well. And so I think if a student is uncertain about college, this is a great option to really help them decide, does it sound like an option that's of interest to them? I had one student before who said, wow, this is actually really not for me. I did this program and you know what? I think college is not the route for me. On the flip side, I had another student who really wasn't sure and decided that college is really something that they're interested in and now are planning to apply. I've also seen a student who was thinking about maybe going out of state who didn't know as much about the options closer to home in Colorado. So students really are across the board in where they're at on that college exploration journey. And that's completely okay. That's really what this program is for. At the end of each meeting, sorry for this little tangent, each of the participants and the mentors will share one key takeaway from the week that they learned. It is the expectation that mentees come with questions each week about the topic. This program is most successful and effective for students who do want to meet new people and engage in more conversations. If you are feeling like, as a parent, wow, this sounds really awesome, I'd love my student to do this, but your student is feeling like, ooh, they don't want to do it, we will have some student panels throughout the year, which might be a better place to start. Those are a little more passive in their engagement. Students can just listen in, they can chat in questions. It's not as engaged and as involved as this mentorship program might be. So I hope that doesn't scare people away, but it is that expectation that the mentees do come with some questions and some things that they've thought about that they would like to talk about each week. The goals of the program are that each student will develop new relationships with other students. Again, kind of that meeting other people, getting to talk to them. We usually do an icebreaker at the start of every session, just kind of about random things to get to know each other. That's one part of this program, especially with the ongoing pandemic. I think that's been really key, is offering a space just for people to connect with other people. And this will be from across the state. So hopefully your student will meet other people with intellectual disabilities that they haven't met before. And maybe they'll find something they have in common. Students will feel inspired after getting to know college students and hearing about their experiences with college, have a better understanding of what options they have after high school, have an idea of what college would be like if they do decide to apply. So again, really trying to figure out, is this the right path for what they want to do and what their goals are? Which brings us to that last bullet point, have goals of their own about what they want to do in the future related to careers and housing. And so really for each week that we talk about a topic, we'll also be encouraging the mentees to hone in on what their goal is around that subject. Going back to some of those mentee expectations, I talked a lot about really having that curiosity and asking questions. Mentees are expected to attend the weekly sessions. It's really important for them to try their best to be at all sessions since it is a short program. We don't have a lot of time to do the relationship building, and when students are missing sessions, that really does hinder the group process. So it's really, really important, and that's why we ask that you can commit to all 6 sessions. That also helps the mentors because for them it's really important to have that consistency and to build a relationship and be able to tailor information to those students that they're working with. I will send out calendar invites each week with the session links, so students will have those. If needed, we can send text reminders. Those might come from myself or a mentor who might be supporting with that. So there's that aspect kind of organization. There will be weekly emails that go out telling students what the theme or the topic is for the week, asking them again to come up with those questions. I do ask that mentees join from a quiet area. This looks different in everyone's house, and that's okay. So this would be the quietest area possible, and we understand that if you're at home, lots of other things might be going on in the background, but just trying to limit some of that noise. And then we do ask that mentees have their video on. I know a lot of students throughout the school day with virtual learning had their cameras off and got kind of acclimated to that. But because this is very focused on relationship building, it is really important and really helps the mentors, again, to be able to see the mentee's face, to kind of gauge their expressions and their reactions, and if they look like they have a question, all of those different cues that you don't necessarily get when your video is off. And so that will be one of the expectations as well. And then I do expect that mentees speak up and give feedback if something is not going well or something is going well that they really like and want to see more of. This will be our second time running this program. Again, the last time was really in conjunction with a school district. So this time is a little different because it's open to students across the state and is happening outside of the school day. So we really do expect that, if something isn't great, we want to hear about it. And if something is great, we also want to hear about it. I will meet with the mentors several times throughout the program to provide some training, to do some check-ins. They play a big part in the planning for the program as well. So know that there are built-in times when we can adjust the course if needed. And then, like I mentioned earlier, if a student does need extra support, feel free to let us know and we can work some things out. This is a program, though, for students by students, so we do really ask that parents and teachers refrain from joining. I know it's easy to be tempted to be hanging out in the background, listening in, but this is really a place for students to ask honest questions about concerns and things that they have that in a lot of cases, from what I've seen, are really best answered by someone else with a disability who's had that same experience. And so I just ask you can check in with your student afterwards and hear about the program, but please refrain from lurking in the background. Then one thing what I've heard before is about concerns that students might not remember when to join the meetings. Again, I will reach out to students via multiple communication modes if needed to make sure that they are at those meetings and are having an okay time joining. So I think that's the main overview of what this program is like. If you would like to chat with me individually, you are certainly welcome to do so. I'm really appreciative of you taking the time to listen and learn about this option. I hope that if it does seem like a good fit for your student, that you'll encourage them to apply. The application is not very in-depth. It's really asking who they are, what their interests are, and then I'll reach out and set up that time to actually talk to them and get to know them via a virtual Google Meet meeting. Here you'll find my email, shelbyb@inclusivehighered.org, and my work cell phone is 720-580-1277. Again, any questions or anything you want to know you're not sure about, feel free to reach out and I'm happy to answer those. All right, I hope you have a great day.